They hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
We got some great news, y'all. Great news. Oh, I just want to celebrate, yeah, like my team won the Super Bowl. That's a Ghostface Killer reference. Wu-Tang forever. Wu-Tang is for the children. Throw up the W. Anyways, what's up with it, fam? This is Hot Boxing Minute. Your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst back at you with that uncut, raw, bias-free, narrative-free boxing talk for your ass. And we got some major news that hit the wire today. It all started coming at one time, to be honest. It was a big, eventful day. The big story, they've come to an agreement with Cool Boy Stephen Fulton, the unified super bantamweight champion and the monster from Yokohama, Japan, Naoya Inoue. They have reached an agreement for a fight. Folks, many people thought we would never actually get to this point. You had critics to the left, critics to the right. People were saying that a fight wasn't going to happen. Stephen Fulton Jr. has been trying to get this fight. Well, first things first. Cool Boy Stephen Fulton, hats off to him. The man has got balls that fill up a whole room. The size are so big. The man is fearless with it. And I've been a Cool Boy Stephen Fulton fan for quite a few years now. He had a monumental 2021 year where he fought both Angelo Leo and Brandon Figueroa, who were undefeated champions. He himself ended up becoming a unified champion. He ended up having a title defense last year against Danny Roman. Washed him on the cards, and Daniel Roman used to be the unified champion before he got beat by Muratjan Akhmadaliev, or we call him MJ Akhmadaliev. So two of the straps are in Cool Boy Stephen Fulton's hands in the super bantamweight division. The other two are with MJ Akhmadaliev. Now, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton has been talking about he wants to become undisputed at super bantamweight. That's the 122-pound limit. And he wanted to fight MJ Akhmadaliev, and then he said his goal, I'm getting some water. His goal was to get a fight with Naoya Inoue, the person that many people have on their pound for pound list ranked number 1. Damn, that's refreshing. Anyways, so what can we say about Naoya Inoue? Naoya Inoue, this is his 4th weight division. He just recently became the undisputed bantamweight champion. That's the 118-pound limit when he beat Paul Butler this past November. I want to say, what round was it? It was the 11th. It was an 11th round stoppage. Paul Butler was pretty much running around the ring the whole time, trying not to get into a direct line of fire against Naoya Inoue. Regardless, he became Japan's first undisputed world champion in the 4-belt era. That was also him conquering his 3rd weight division. Naoya Inoue is called the monster for a reason. The guy is a knockout machine. To give you some background on Naoya Inoue, Stephen Fulton will be his 4th straight opponent that is in the top 10 or a champion. It's his first lineal champion. It is going to be, what else? What other stats have I got here? Fulton is going to be Naoya Inoue's 3rd top 10 opponent, his 8th top 10 opponent in 10 starts, and his 4th number 1 ranked opponent in his division since he's moving up. He's going straight from being undisputed champion at 118 less than a couple months ago to going straight into a unification fight, or a fight with a unified champion in the division above in the form of Stephen Fulton Jr. This is big news, very big news. There was a lot of critics along both sides of this fence that were really adamant that, Stephen Fulton wasn't going to take this fight for whatever reason, even though Stephen Fulton has proven himself to be someone who does not shy away from the toughest of the toughest thus far in his career. Man, Stephen Fulton's resume is insane. Stephen Fulton's 4th straight top 10 opposition. It's Fulton's 10th undefeated opponent since his career started. He's only about 17 or 18 fights in, if I'm not mistaken. His 5th straight undefeated opponent in 6 fights. Clearly, Stephen Fulton Jr. is not playing around. He is here to make a statement and to get a legacy for himself, and he's going to go through it in the most difficult match possible against Naoya Inoue. Stephen Fulton is a defensive genius with great technical skills. Isn't known as the most heavy-handed of punchers, but he does have enough pop to keep his opponents honest. He did that close fight with Brandon Figueroa, and he was supposed to run it back, I thought, with Brandon Figueroa coming up in March or April. Apparently, they scrapped the idea because Brandon Figueroa moved up to 126 into the featherweight division. And I guess Brandon Figueroa now is going to be fighting Mark Magsayo, the former WBC champ. No, yes, Mark was the former WBC champion. He just lost his belt to Ray Vargas. And so, as opposed to Stephen Fulton ending up fighting Brandon Figueroa. So let me make sure I got this right. So we have Stephen Fulton Jr., who was originally supposed to fight Brandon Figueroa in a rematch of their awesome 2022 clash that many people argue should have gone in Brandon Figueroa's favor, but this isn't about arguing whether or not Brandon Figueroa should have won or not. They were going to rematch. Well, it turns out they scrapped the idea of that rematch. Now Brandon Figueroa is going to fight Mark Magsayo, and Stephen Fulton Jr. is going to fight the monster, Naoya Inoue. And so this is going to be an interesting affair, an interesting chain of events to start off 2023, and I'm excited about it. They haven't exactly set a date yet or a location, but most likely it's going to be at the end of spring, most likely in Japan. That's where all the good money is. So, yeah, just a quick recap. You've got the monster Naoya Inoue. Let me recap this real quick. You got Naoya Inoue. They call him the monster. According to many boxing pundits and boxing critics, he's the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He just vacated his undisputed bantamweights and moved up a division to super bantamweight, and he's immediately going into challenging the unified super bantamweight champion, cool boy Stephen Fulton Jr. from Philadelphia, and the fight should go down sometime late spring, ideally in Japan. Boxing community, what do you think about this matchup? Let me know in the comments section. Let's chop this up. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button, press follow. I know some people have to be reminded of that. I'm not exactly sure why, but there you go. So let's move on from the Naoya Inoue, Stephen Fulton thing, and let's get into the other piece of news I wanted to talk about. There's two other pieces of news I want to talk about in addition to Naoya Inoue and Stephen Fulton. We got David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. They have finally come to a decision, Caleb Plant and David Benavidez have finally given us a date, March 25th at the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas. That is going to be the date of their showdown. And we've been wanting this fight between them two at super middleweight. It's been brewing for years. Ideally, it should have happened when they were both champions, when Caleb had the IBF and David had the WBC. For whatever reason, it didn't happen, even though they're both on the same side of the political aisle as PBC fighters. Well, you've got David Benavidez, who lost his belt twice, once on the scale and once for the cocaína. And then, of course, Caleb Plant, who lost his belt to Canelo Alvarez. And here we are. On the eve of them finally having the matchup that has been long awaited. There's a lot of bad blood between them two. We've got Caleb Plant, who just came off that crazy, stunning knockout of Anthony Durrell. And you got David Benavidez, who came off of that knockout of David Lemieux, which wasn't nearly as stunning as Caleb Plant's crazy knockout of Durrell. But regardless, you got Caleb Plant, who's kind of a boxer's boxer. He uses a lot of movement, stays behind his jab, who suddenly has become a power puncher under the guidance of Steve Bradman. And David Benavidez, who's basically an offensive powerhouse with really fast hands, and he just tunnels at you with nonstop, relentless pressure. This is going to be a fun matchup. I'm going to do an in-depth analysis and style breakdown as we get closer to fight date. This is just to let the fans know what's going on with that fight date. So, you know, a lot of fans are looking forward to this fight. You got David Benavidez, who was the former... sorry, let me get a drink of water here. Anyways, y'all, I'm so excited sometimes when I start talking, my voice dries up. So like I was saying, the much anticipated fight between Caleb Plant and David Benavidez, a beef that has been brewing for years, which we're now finally given a date for, March 25th, out there in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand Garden. Boxing community, I want those early predictions. How do you think this fight between Caleb Plant and David Benavidez plays out on March 25th? Let me know in the comments section. Let's chop this up. And hit that like button, hit that follow. I'm going to keep reminding y'all on this. Last piece of news, Edgar Berlanga, the monster. Edgar Berlanga and Top Rank have officially parted ways. According to Berlanga's manager, Keith Connolly, and reps for Top Rank, they reached a separation agreement Wednesday morning, which is very interesting. Edgar Berlanga has received all the wrath and then some of social media. Sometimes I do feel kind of bad for Edgar Berlanga. He is undefeated, but gets no love on social media and constantly gets thrown under the bus in comment sections. He's 20-0 with 16 knockouts, but he's had less than stellar performances since his knockout streak ended, and boxing fans refuse to let him live it down. Is he a victim of the Top Rank hype machine? Is he a victim of social media? Is he a victim of himself? You tell me. So, Edgar Berlanga is no longer with Top Rank. He's an independent free agent, which means he has any number of possibilities. I mean, he just had his most recent fight with Romer Angulo, and he won it on a decision, but he ended up biting him in like the 7th round, so he got suspended for 6 months. So he just finished up his 6-month suspension. I'm sure they're looking for an opponent. I don't know what company would pick him up. He was managed by Top Rank. PBC on that side has a whole lot of super middleweights he can mess with, like I just mentioned. Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, he's got the Durrells. There's other people on that side of the aisle at the 168 range. Maybe he goes to Matchroom. Maybe Eddie Hearn has interest in getting, a U.S. market going for his DAZN platform in Matchroom, because they really don't have any marquee American fighters. And we do know that because of the Puerto Rican contingency that's very supportive of boxing, they will come to actually see Edgar Berlanga. So there's a possibility there. Maybe he can fight, a couple of European guys and get his confidence under his legs before he faces somebody out here in the States. I did see so-called Steven Nelson thrown around as a possible opponent for Edgar Berlanga. We don't know. All I know is this, folks. Edgar Berlanga, the monster, is officially a free agent. So basically, that's what it is. Long story short, Edgar Berlanga, a.k.a. the monster, the man who had those 16 first-round knockouts when he first started his career, but now he's at 20-0 and hasn't been able to get a knockout since, is officially a free agent. Him and Top Rank have parted ways amicably. And where does he go next? You tell me. Anyways, folks, hit that comment section, hit that like button, press follow if you haven't already done so. You know what time and what place this is. This is Hot Boxing Minute, y'all, the future of boxing analysis on YouTube and TikTok. Peace.